Hey, what's up, Pep Nation? Week number 5, max intent, high velocity. It's a focus day. We crushed it. 500 pounds by Chad, 405 by me and Dante. I want you guys to get your game ready because you're about to crush this workout. Let's go, Pep Nation!
So after you've thoroughly rolled out and unglued those tight, bound down muscles, we're gonna start on the ground with some mobility torso activation exercises, doing 8 reps per movement. The first exercise is the cat-cow, which releases tension in the upper back and neck area. Next is the plank pike, dynamically stretching the lats and activating the core area. Followed immediately by contralateral, so it's opposite arm and leg, plank, which increases trunk and core activation along with priming the hips and glute region. Then we will jump right into our downward dog to cobra, increasing hamstring, shoulder, and low back mobility, followed by T-spine rotations, which open up the mid-back for added increased mobility. Then we went right into our hip rock series, which I believe is the best exercise for really opening up your hip complex, due and large to the rotation component, which dynamically targets the hip capsule, increasing more fluidity and mobility in that area. After, we shimmied our legs out and rocked our hips back into our tactical frog, and also added some internal rotation of the hip by rotating our heel towards the ceiling to get that added stretch and activation in that hip area. Then we got into our quad Nordics, stretching the front of the quadriceps and toe area, making sure to stay in proper alignment throughout the movement. Followed by our prone scorpion and iron cross, which both focus on low back mobility. Then we laid on our backs and performed our high ballistic hamstring kicks to really target our hammies, along with some 90-90 hip mobility, which works on internal and external rotation at the same time. But I like this because it really opens up that posterior hip capsule, increasing our squat depth and mobility. Next, I sat up and leaned back to perform some knee fall-ins, which again, focus on hip mobility, along with rolling back and starting the straight leg kicks and scissor kicks. And once finished, roll back into our roll back and reach, increasing the hip mobility. Lastly, we did some dynamic calf gas pellers, targeting the calf muscles along with groiners to finish.
All right, guys, so after the warm-up that Shay's doing, we're gonna go straight into our first stability drills. Now, if you remember from week 1, we're doing exactly the same single leg stability. So it's that single leg overhead press contralateral, making sure that we can focus on that crossbody stabilization and core control. And then also we did the single leg RDL with the lateral raise, moving that weight away from the center of gravity or changing our center of gravity so that we can really make sure we can stabilize through that hip, knee, ankle, and foot. After our initial stability drills, we went straight into a little bit of power and force development, really making sure that we're working on stiffness of the tendons and ligaments around the muscles to make sure that we can really produce high forces and absorb high forces through, again, the ankle, knee, and the hip. So first exercise, what we did was just a single leg forward, so not a lateral this time, it was a horizontal box drop, focusing on that single leg stabilization as you land. And then straight into, again, a single leg box jump. The box height here doesn't really matter. It needs to be nice and low so that you can, again, focus more on the stabilization as opposed to how high you're jumping or how high you're jumping off. Second exercise now, this is where we want to think about creating a lot of stiffness in our joints to make sure that we can react and be springy as athletes, because that's a really great athletic quality that you'll see a lot of high power sport athletes. They can exhibit all of that all the time. Now, the point of this one is single leg will be a little bit too much force on what we're trying to accomplish here. So we went with a double leg, just a box drop. You want to feel like you're in a cartoon falling off the edge of the cliff. As soon as they feel their feet hit the ground, they're trying to tense up and tighten up and then redirect that force straight onto the box in front of them. Again, box height is very low, making sure that we're working on the quality of this movement. All right, guys, so here are our first drills for our max intent. Now, the bench stamp and switch that you see these guys doing second in this little complex here. Again, that's second, and it's the same as the workout in week 1 of this phase 1. This time what we did was we added a little block or a box or something nice and soft underneath them so that we can work on stabilizing on an unstable surface, but also there's not as much force directed into those hamstrings, but it's a great exercise for making sure the hamstring, glute, and that hip extension is really, really strong and powerful. The first exercise that we did here that we paired the box, stamp, and switch was with just working on powerful triple extension with that med ball toss backwards. We competed in that. Again, it's max intent, so we had all 3 guys working against each other trying to get that max distance, and we absolutely smashed it. We went after it. That was a great start to this workout. All right, guys, now because we are working on concentric force development at this stage in our phase 1 here, we're working through some pin squats. Again, we use the push technology, but for this, it was more about that power development, trying to get as fast as we can, but trying to go as heavy as we can at the same time, really working on that rate of force development as well. So, as you can see from the videos, these guys absolutely smoked this workout, especially through the squats. We ended up hitting 405 for Dante and Shay, and then 495 for Chad. It was awesome. They got after it. We took the weight up a little bit each set, really trying to make sure that they feel out where their comfort zone is and really trying to make sure that the bar is moving smoothly. Now, the point of this workout here is not necessarily to focus on specific velocity numbers if you do have a push technology available, but making sure that the bar runs smooth, it's moving consistent, it's moving as fast as you can get it. All right. Our second exercise here with that speed strength zone, really today, because it's concentric force development, we're more working on strength speed today actually, was the bench press. Again, similar to the first week, however, we did it from pins, just like with the squats. We're trying to take out that eccentric, trying to take out that isometric, really get tight from the bottom and then drive that bench up. It's important for all sports to be able to, from almost nothing, produce a lot of force and a lot of power and a lot of speed. So that's what the aim of this part of the workout was to do. All right, guys, almost to the end of our workouts now, and this is the last bit. I'm so excited to share this information with you guys because Shay and Chad have absolutely smashed it through this. Now, we did the single leg vertical jump off the box, okay? So with the box raising our leg to start off with, and again, it was working on that power endurance. The numbers went up per jump on average, and also the number of jumps went up. On top of that, we started with the right leg and finished with the left leg, and both were very, very even. I'm so excited to share that with you guys because it really means that all the unilateral work, all that balance work, all that single leg work that we are doing, all that strength and power work that we're doing throughout the whole program is showing and shining through. The proof is in the pudding through this exercise here. We're really even and comfortable through both legs, and that's great for injury reduction, making sure that both legs are very balanced. Great work from these guys. All right, and our last one, we're going back to basics again. Every single week has been the same. I really love the Nordic curl as an exercise to strengthen those hamstrings and again, bulletproof those hamstrings. We worked with a 3-second eccentric, even though our focus is concentric force development. I want to make sure that we're still building that muscle, building that strength in those hamstrings through the knee joint. And this was awesome. We still did our 2 sets of 8. We kept it exactly the same. These guys got after it. As you can see actually in the video, Chad is actually able to, from week 1, he couldn't do this, but he's actually able to focus on that eccentric portion down and actually concentrically contract his hamstring through the knee joint there and bring his whole body back up. This is something that he hasn't been able to do before, and it's awesome that our strength program and our power program so far has been working to be able to give him that strength and that power and durability in his hamstrings. All right, guys, so it was a great workout, great max intent. They really got after it. They competed again. If you don't have access to all the technology, not a problem. The point of today is make sure it's max intent. It's all in here. You got to make sure that you're getting after it, really working as hard as you can, trying to make sure the bar's moving smoothly, you're moving smoothly, but with, again, maximum intent, maximum velocity. This is a great workout from these guys, and we're improving so fast, we're not even done. Let's get after it.